Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel if you are new. Hello, my name is V. I post nail tutorials every Thursday and Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Central Time. Getting right into today's video, I did go ahead and pre-pip my practice hand with the Not Polish C-Curve tips, if I'm not mistaken. They also have a longer version, but I did trim them down just a little bit to make them a little bit shorter. I am going ahead and filing the sides, making sure that everything is nice and flush to the natural nail. And then I'm lightly squaring off that tip as well, just so that the shape is nice and perfect for my application. Now getting into our acrylic application, for today's video I am using acrylic brush size 12 from Not Polish. Along with that, I'm using their monomer as well. I'm going to be doing a very simple nude base for today's set. I feel that it is a trend going around where you use nude and then you use pops of colors to kind of bring the set out. So that's kind of what I was trying to accomplish in today's set. So I am just doing my normal acrylic application. Now this nude color is called Velvet Teddy, and I wanted to go ahead and use this nude specifically because it has those peachy undertones, which is perfect for the springtime. So I am focusing on my nail art for today's video, and I am just going to be doing a thin base of this nude. I'm not doing any apex, I'm not creating any extra thickness, that's not necessary because this is a practice hand. However, I do have tons of in-depth videos on all of that. If you guys are interested in a more in-depth video, I have tons of my videos organized in my playlist, so you guys can check those out. I am going ahead and using rather large beads for this application. I'm basically trying to cover the most amount of the nail with one bead, and then I'm just going in lightly with the second one and then kind of filling in any area that I might need. These nails are extremely long, so keep that in mind whenever you are doing longer sets. It will take you a little bit longer and the application will be slightly using bigger beads just to get the job done a lot quicker. So I'm just going ahead and starting off at the tip, and then I'm working my way up into the cuticle area. Always remember to hold your finger in a downward position so that the ball flows down towards the tip and not into the cuticle area. You want to try to avoid that overflow as much as possible, because even though you might think you're cleaning up that area very well, you can definitely leave some product behind, which will cause lifting. So make sure you guys are just avoiding it altogether as best as possible. Once everything is fully dry, I am going in with my Kiara Sky rechargeable e-file. I have her at about a speed of 9,000 RPMs, and I am using my Kiara Sky 5-in-1 bit in the medium grit for this part. You can also use a fine one. I just prefer the medium grit. It's what I've gotten used to. So I like to start off in the cuticle area, make sure that that acrylic is nice and flush to the natural nail. This will also minimize any lifting issues. And then I'm going vertically up and down the surface of the nail to try to get that as smooth as possible. I tried to really focus on my acrylic application so the nail already itself looks pretty smooth, but I'm just making sure that everything is nice and leveled. There's no ridges or there's no areas that are higher than the rest. So I'm going ahead and gently doing that. I'm using very light pressure during this process because I do not want to remove bulk product. I'm just smoothing out that surface. Now I'm going in with my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file, and I'm going to be doing the final shaping for these nails. I like to go on the sides, kind of alternate from left to right, right to left, and then we're going to be flipping the hand around to look at the nails from the client's perspective and then fully shape that nail out. You want to make sure you are looking at the nails from every possible angle because a lot of the time your client will catch imperfections that you might have not seen from your view. So make sure you're constantly turning the nail, pointing it like the opposite way, making sure you're turning it and all that good stuff to be able to fully see all of the nail. It's not ever spring if you don't do a spring set of nails. So I'm a little late. We're almost into summer, but I figured I would do this for you guys and really go in depth on how to do 3D nail art. I am using my 3D nail art brush from Amazon, which I talked about in my last video. If you missed that, check that out. But this is my all-time favorite go-to 3D nail art brush. I love that it's super thin and I feel like it's very precise for specifically like small designs, but you can also do larger designs with it. I use this for all of my 3D nail art and it works perfectly. So I'm going in and using an extremely small bead of acrylic. I did start off by doing the yellow first, and then now I'm going in with the petals. So for the yellow of the center of these nails, I'm using Kiara Sky's Golden Hour, and I'm using that throughout the entire video for the center of the flower. And then this pretty pink that I'm using here for the petals is called Power Move, also from Kiara Sky. So I am going in and applying my tiny bead of pink acrylic. And then I'm going to be focusing more on the area that is going to be closer to the yellow. I feel like it's really hard to explain this process. It works better if you're watching it. So I'm gonna try my best, but I'm placing my bead, focusing on that area near the yellow, and I'm basically pushing that product outwards to thin it out in that center area and create that little ridge. Once you get the hang of these little petals, it is the easiest thing ever to do. You just want to make sure that you place your bead, wipe your brush on a paper towel. That'll dehydrate the brush lightly because when you're molding your acrylic, you want to be able to push it out, move it without it overflowing. If you have too much monomer on your brush, it's just going to continue to wet that bead and it's going to take longer for it to dry. So my biggest suggestion is always lightly tap your brush on the paper towel and then it'll let you or allow you to work with that bead a little bit easier, I guess I would say. Of course, if you need to allow yourself a little bit more time to work with the petal, then go ahead and use it wet. but once you get the hang of it, you will want to start working with it drier. So my thought process when creating this design was I knew I wanted a nude background, some flowers, and I wanted them specifically to be more on the pastel side for springtime. So I ended up using Lemon Drop from Not Polished for this really pretty muted orange that I'm using here. And I also wanted to kind of ombre the flowers into different colors. So as you can see, I'm starting off with pink. Now I'm transitioning into orange flowers, and then from orange I'm gonna do yellow, from yellow green, from green blue. So I'm going to be working my way towards the pinky now, doing that transition, and obviously you'll be able to see the process of that. Again, using very, very small beads of acrylic. You want to focus on that center, really push that product out, dry out your brush as much as you need, and work with that bead. Now we're moving on to the middle finger. Again, I start off with the yellow center just to kind of eyeball and place mentally where I'm going to be making the other petals. And this is all preference. I wanted them to be more on the tip versus across the entire surface of the nail, but you can always do what the client wants or what you feel looks better. I just really wanted to focus on the lower half of the nail. Again, I'm going to be doing an orange little flower. I basically leave some of the spaces empty if I know for sure the petal is going to overhang. I want it to stay on the surface of the nail as much as possible. You don't want it to cause any snagging or discomfort to your client. So I honestly would prefer to just leave one petal out than have it overhang. And that's basically what I do throughout my flower application. You'll see at the bottom, it's slightly too small for a petal, so I just go ahead and leave it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to work on these tiny little petals, transitioning to a different color. And I will be mentioning the colors as I'm going, but I feel like you guys will grasp the idea better if I just let you guys watch the process. Very, very repetitive, and like I said, once you get the hang of it, it's super, super simple. Now we are transitioning from the orange to yellow. This is a really pretty opaque pastel yellow called Blonded Moment from Not Polished. I love this color because it's super opaque, and I feel like a lot of the time your flower petals and details will come out better with a more opaque color. So keep that in mind as well. That's always a good thing to look for when you're trying to figure out what powders to use. I always go for the more pigmented, opaque ones. You will get a better result. Now for the ring finger, I'm going to be doing another yellow flower, and then I'm going to be transitioning that into green. You can see my scatterbrain all over the place trying to figure out where I was going to place that yellow center. And then I'm just gonna start out building my petals as soon as I figure out the placement. Now we are transitioning from the yellow to the green. I am not doing it in any specific order. Honestly, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So you can see I started off with 2 pink, 1 orange on one, another orange on the other with a yellow, and then 2 yellows, 1 green. So this really pretty green is from Not Polish. It is called Neon Ninjas. It is the perfect springtime muted pastel green in my opinion. Super, super pretty, and I absolutely love it. And then from the green, we are going to be transitioning one other green flower onto the pinky along with a blue one. Now for this really pretty blue color that I'm using, this one is from Kiara Sky from their all-in-one powders. This is called Encouragement. This one is also very, very pigmented, opaque color, which is perfect for creating 3D nail art. So I'm just going ahead and finishing off the design, and then we're gonna be moving on to our final touches. So I'm pretty sure at this point, whenever I was finishing up the nail art, I was like, why do these look so crusty? I absolutely forgot to clean the surface of the nail before I started on my nail art. Because this is acrylic, it doesn't really matter, and I think that's why I didn't catch it before. But now I'm going in and cleaning the surface along with my practice hand with a lint-free wipe and some swipe. This shows how pregnancy brain definitely affects your abilities to do simple tasks that you're normally used to doing. So now I'm going ahead and top coating these nails. I am using Matte It from Not Polish. I was going to do shiny, but whenever I am kind of on the fence of doing either or, I like to just go ahead and go in with the matte, and that gives you the shiny result. For example, here you can kind of see what it would look like shiny. I wanted it matte, so I figured it would look better. It would make the 3D nail art pop just a little bit more. So I'm going ahead and going very, very gently around those flowers. I prefer to do this method versus top coating first because I am always so scared that the acrylic is going to pop off from the top coat. I don't know why. It might not happen that way. However, I'd rather just be safe than sorry. It does take quite a bit of time to create this nail art. So if your client leaves and comes back and says that the flowers all popped off, I would be pretty upset with myself. So I'd rather just be safe. Go ahead and do it on the raw acrylic and then top coat gently around. And of course, we're going to be popping this into the light. I am using my Kiara Sky rechargeable LED light for this step. And I like to do the 1.5 minutes, I want to say, option. And then I go one more round of that just to make sure that everything is fully cured. That basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a ton, and I will see you guys next time. Throw it right back.